Hey, it's Derek from Now 100.5 with another edition of Instagood, powered by JustServe.org. Today we're going to be talking to Rhonda Campbell of MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Of course, it's a well-known organization. Did you know that it was started here in Sacramento in 1980? Now, obviously, we're at a home. This is Rhonda's home. She's working from home during the quarantine, so we have the opportunity to sit down with her in her house and find out what MAD is doing in our community and motivating service in Sacramento. Come on in. We're here with Rhonda Campbell from Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, and of course, she's working from home during this time, which is why we're here. We're here at her home in Alberta. First of all, thank you for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
We've had a lot of great discussions off camera and getting to know each other. And MAD, M-A-D-D, is a very well-known organization. When you say MAD, people know Mothers Against Drunk Driving. The first question I have for you, you did mention to me that you lost somebody in your life. Can you tell us your personal story and how you got involved in the organization?
Absolutely. In 1981, I was 12 years old, or I was 15 years old at the time. My sister was 12. She had gone to dinner with a family friend, and they were coming home, and a drunk driver, a 4-time repeat offender, driving on a suspended license, ran a stop sign at 60 miles an hour and hit the car my sister was in head-on. The driver died at the scene. The driver happened to be my best friend's mother. And my 12-year-old sister laid on the side of the road critically injured and alone. They took her to UC Davis, and unfortunately her injuries were too severe, and the next morning very early we lost her. It's been almost 40 years, and MAD was there for my family. Nobody expects something like this to happen, and you cannot be prepared for the fallout of a drunk driving crash. You have so many choices to make and so many decisions to make in such a short amount of time. And MAD comes in, and that's where we help. MAD stepped in with my parents and helped them and guided them. And, all of these years we've had this affinity for MAD because they were there for us. I finally reached a time in my life where I was like, I'm going to give back. It's my turn to give back for Irene. And I went to MAD and I said, put me to work. So I'm very proudly now victim advocate for Mothers Against Drunk Driving in Sacramento.
Can you tell us a little bit about the organization for those people who don't know? How long has MAD been around?
MAD was founded in 1980, right here in Sacramento, Fair Oaks, California. A woman by the name of Candy Leitner. Her daughter was walking home from a junior high school carnival. A drunk driver hit her, killed her, fled the scene, and spent little to no jail time ever for that crime. And she was mad. The analogy just worked. She started a one-woman crusade, and being a woman in this world that we're living in today, I'm so proud to look at what she did in the 80s. She started in Fair Oaks, California, talking to whoever would listen to her about the injustices of her child being killed by a drunk driver and it not being considered a crime. And she also stood next to President Ronald Reagan when he at the time signed some of the toughest legislation ever in this country against drunk driving. That's amazing.
What is the most important thing that is overlooked by this community and the society?
I think what's overlooked is the magnitude of the number of people that are killed by drunk drivers. In our country, 30 people a day will die because of a drunk or impaired driver. Because somebody made the selfish choice to get in a car and drive it impaired. 1 out of every 3 people will be impacted by a drunk driver in their lifetime. And I'll make it a little scarier for you. The average impaired driver will drive impaired 80 times before they get caught once. What I want people to know is these are real people that are being impacted by these crashes. These are real circumstances.
I really appreciate you sharing your story and the great work that MAD is doing in our community. To me, to people like us and a lot of people watching, it's really simple. Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. And plan ahead. Make your plans before you're impaired.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you so much for talking with us. I appreciate it, Rhonda.
Thank
you for sharing that story
I appreciate that. Thank you. Hearing
Rhonda's personal story about how she was affected by drunk drivers, hearing the story about how she lost her sister when she was young is heartbreaking. This happens every single day, as you had just seen, and it's amazing to hear how resilient she is and how she was motivated by that experience to help out others in our community by preventing drunk driving. That's the purpose of MAD. To find out more about how you can motivate service in the community with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, go to madd.org or justserve.org and motivate service in the Sacramento community. It's Derek with another edition of Instagood, powered by JustServe.org and Now 100.5.